This is Cyberlog, world news in anime.
All right, I want you to picture something with me. The date is February 8th, 2026. You're looking at the biggest stage in American sports, the Super Bowl. Over 100 million people are tuned in. And one artist from Puerto Rico is about to walk out and deliver a performance that will literally split a nation right down the middle. See, this isn't just about a halftime show, not even close. This is a story about power, about culture, and yeah, about some major controversy. It's a story about a statement that would send shockwaves far, far beyond the walls of that stadium. So, to really get what's going on here, you first have to understand our protagonist, a man named Benito Antonio Martinez Ocasio, but you know him as Bad Bunny. Now, when we talk about an artist's power level, Bad Bunny's is just, it's off the charts. For 2 years straight, he wasn't just a big artist, he was the most streamed artist on the entire planet. We're talking bigger than Drake, bigger than Taylor Swift, on a global scale. So how does he do it? Well, his music just transcends language. You don't need to speak a word of Spanish to feel the energy, to get the vibe, to connect with the culture that he represents. And that connection, that's universal. It's given him a reach that most artists can only dream of. And that reach brings us to the arena, the Super Bowl halftime show. Look, it's not just another gig on the tour. In the world of entertainment, it is the final boss. It's that ultimate challenge that can make you a legend forever. I mean, just think about the absolute legends who have stepped onto the stage. You've got Michael Jackson, who basically invented the modern halftime show, Prince, making it rain purple in an actual downpour, Beyoncé, who delivered a powerful statement with Formation, and of course, Shakira and J-Lo, who put on this incredible celebration of Latin culture. This stage, it has some serious weight. It's got history. So, okay, the stage is set. The lights go down in the stadium, and the energy, you can just feel it crackling in the air. It's Bad Bunny's turn. And this performance, it was a spectacle. A calculated, high-energy, unapologetically Latin spectacle. The setlist was hit after hit with that signature reggaeton beat just pounding through the stadium. And crucially, he performed in Spanish. He centered his Puerto Rican identity and he made zero apologies for it. He didn't water a single thing down. But here's the thing. He didn't do it alone. First, he brings out a legend, Ricky Martin, the man who really kicked down the door for Latin pop in America. It felt like a mentor joining his student for the final battle. And then, the ultimate plot twist. Lady Gaga, a surprise ally, an icon from a totally different world, coming together for a moment nobody saw coming. And you should have seen the crowd. The guest list was completely stacked. Pedro Pascal, Jessica Alba, Cardi B, Karl G, they were all there. This was so much more than a show. This was Latin culture flexing on America's biggest stage. It was a declaration. We are here, we are powerful. It was a moment of pure, unfiltered pride. But you know how these stories go. For every epic move, there's a counter move. And the backlash to this performance, it was fast and it was fierce. Almost immediately, the criticism started pouring in. Some Republican lawmakers went on record calling the performance pure smut and even demanded that there be an official investigation into the halftime show. So that brings up the big question, right? Why? I mean, the halftime show has had plenty of provocative performances before. So you have to wonder, was the backlash really about the content? Or was it about a Puerto Rican artist unapologetically putting his language and his culture front and center on a stage that has traditionally been dominated by mainstream English language pop? And Bad Bunny's response to all this was just fascinating. He went on Instagram and wiped his entire account. Every photo, every video, just gone. Now, some people saw it as him backing down, but you could also see it as an incredible power move. Basically him saying, I don't owe any of you an explanation. But here's the thing, he wasn't fighting this battle alone. Let's talk about what happened next, because for all the criticism, a massive wave of support rose up to meet it. His onstage ally, Ricky Martin, posted this really emotional message online. He called the performance a landmark moment for representation, for pride, for dignity. He stood right there beside Bad Bunny, no question. And the entire Latino community rallied. Social media was just flooded with support. You had parents sharing these amazing stories about their kids seeing someone who looked and sounded like them on that massive stage. Young artists suddenly felt inspired to be themselves, unapologetically. The performance went from being just a controversial TV moment to a genuine cultural touchstone. Now sure, Some critics pointed to a small dip in the TV ratings as some kind of proof that it failed. But come on, real cultural impact isn't something you can measure with overnight numbers. What this moment really did was kick a door wide open for future artists, proving they belong on that stage, not as a gimmick, but as the main event. When you step back and look at it, this whole performance was an inevitable reflection of how America is changing. Bad Bunny didn't just put on a show, he made a huge statement. Latino culture isn't a side note in the American story. It is, and it has always been, a central chapter. Which kind of leaves us with one final thought. When you think about the performance, the intense reaction, and everything that was at stake, you just have to ask yourself, was this really about a 15-minute concert? Or was it something much, much bigger? Was it a battle for the very soul of American culture?